Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dark Art Society podcast. I'm your host, Chet, and today we have an old friend, Kevin Wasner. He's a makeup artist for The Walking Dead, for X, Passion of the Christ. He's done so many movies forever, last 20 years at least, probably longer, 25, I don't know. But I used to work with him at Rick Baker's. Super nice guy, super talented makeup artist, and so I'm interviewing him today. What have I been doing? Same old, catching up. I just finished this painting, which I'm going to make it available to sell soon. I put some Divine Feminine one-off, weird colored glowing one-offs in the Store of Doom. If you want to go to chetzar.bigcartel.com to check those out if they're still available. There's a few left still. As you may know, they go to my Patreon people. Find out about it first. If you want to join my Patreon, you go to patreon.com/chetzar. Help support me creating this artwork. If you want to support the podcast as well, you can go to patreon.com/darkartsociety and join. Both you can join for as little as $1. Yeah, I'm trying to keep these intros short now, so that's about it. So let's get on with my interview with Kevin Wasner. Hope you like it. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Chet.
It's so good to see you after, I don't even, how many years has it been?
It's been a few. I think the last time I saw you was at one of the Monster Paloozas, and I haven't been in the last couple of years.
Yeah, same. Yeah. It's been some years, and it's been even longer since we worked together.
Yeah.
You know, you hold a special place in my heart because you are the first person to mention Cannibal Flower to me.
Yes, I remember that.
When I was starting painting, you're like, you got to go to this Cannibal Flower thing.
Yeah. I remember just seeing you over at your desk like during lunch, and you're always painting and just paintings. And I just like, man, you got to do this Cannibal Flower thing, man. It's fun. It's like an art show party, man.
It's so funny because when you first told me about it, I'm like, I had this impression that it was like at someone's house or something for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then I ended up going to one and going like, oh shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then
it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I kind of miss those things.
I know.
Do they even exist anymore? It's like that went away.
Yeah, I don't think Cannibal Flower exists anymore, but it's like a lot of the people from that scene started galleries like,
that's good.
Copro was already going, but they were part of it. And, Think Space. And I think the guy who started it. Yeah. I think he had some art bar, but I think it might've closed down during the pandemic, but everyone's kind of been doing different things, yeah,
I really loved it because it honestly motivated me to paint because I'd never have anything new, and they'd just call me like on a Sunday. Hey man, you got anything? I go, yeah, man. I go, you got to drop it off on Thursday. I'm like, oh shit! And I just run down to the. I remember being so broke at that time. I'd run down to like a thrift shop and buy a painting that already had a frame on it, and I just gesso over it.
That's amazing.
Paint something, and it'd literally be delivering it like it was. Hey, careful, it's still wet.
Yeah. And then if you didn't pick it up on Sunday, you probably weren't going to see it for a long time, if ever.
I might be able to get it on Monday. That ain't going to work.
It's like if you didn't pick it up on Sunday, they put it in some storage unit, and good luck getting it back then. You know who else? Nathan. I don't know if you know Nathan Cartwright. He was involved in that whole Cannibal Flower scene, and he started directly from that. He started the Hive Gallery downtown. They're still going. They're still going.
Hive is still going. Yeah, I've been to Hive. I didn't know he was connected. That's cool.
Yeah. It's
cool.
It's just crazy how they were kind of like the beginning of the whole LA art scene. And it's still kind of started a lot of people's careers. But anyway, so I appreciate you being the first to tell me that. Every time I think of you, I always think of like, he's the guy who told me the thing that helped me start my whole art career,
that's nice.
And I started there, that was like where I got my feet wet.
Oh, wow.
So thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes, and it's nice when you're surrounded by other people who have the same passion. It kind of just motivates you.
Yeah.
And then you were able to step away from makeup effects world. Eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't all that long after, probably.
Well, I mean, I left 7 years after, so it was like I was doing day job and weekends and evenings painting for 7 years, like two jobs. Wow. It was crazy, but I got laid off from Spectral after Land of the Lost. And I was like, I could either look for another job or I could just like take a chance, because I saw that my stuff was selling. I was selling, and I was in shows and I had solo shows, but I wasn't making enough to support myself. But I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take a chance, and I've been kind of like running ever since to try and keep up.
I'm sure. I mean, you've been doing so well, man. I'm so happy for you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. Your work is so inspiring. And,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've got a few of your little studies around in this.
Right behind you. I see them. That's so funny in my little frames.
Right
cool.
There. I got 3 in a row right there.
That's awesome.
I love them.
Yeah, I forgot. You're like a great painter. I was looking at at least one painting on your Instagram. I was like, whoa.
I don't
totally forgot.
You know what? I need to do it. I really enjoy it when I do it. I was doing it a little bit during the pandemic because there's nothing else to do, and I'm like, I forgot how much I love painting.
It's so fun.
I got to find the space for it, and we just rearranged our garage and stuff, so we have space for it. So I think I'm going to get back into it.
You should just even if it's just for fun and to be part of the art community again in a way where you're showing, because there's a lot of art events going on all the time still, between all the galleries and all. It's kind of like the ground zero of the world of this kind of art, really,
Right. There's a little art place right in South Pasadena, not far from where I'm at, and they're always like, hey, you got anything? I'm like,
oh, which place is this? Is that Sugar Mint?
They do mostly like horror art.
Is it Sugar Mint Gallery?
Sugar Mint, behind the Michael Myers.
Yeah. I've showed there before. Yeah.
Have you? Yeah.
They're super cool.
They're very cool.
You're in South Pasadena?
No, I'm in Alhambra, right on.
Oh, are you serious? I'm in Monrovia. Yeah. We're like neighbors practically.
Neighbors.
Have you been to Zello yet?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
That's great.
That's a place I always take everybody. Any friend comes over, I take them to Zello. I always talk about Zello on the podcast. I'm like big proponent of Zello.
Nice.
Cornmeal crust. We'll have to go there sometime when you have some time.
Yeah.
So you've been busy for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, I'd say it's slowed down, but it's still pretty busy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, things are so slow, but I'm still like every week I'm doing something.
So you're like primarily like on-set makeup now, like application
on-set. I haven't really worked in any shops in almost 4 or 5 years now.
Awesome, that's great.
So it's literally just makeup. I mean, there's elements of I miss.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
But unless the camaraderie being in the shop and just the regular hours, to be honest,
True, but that's how you make money though, is on set.
It is.
Yeah. And you're in the union, right?
I'm in the union. Yeah,
that's where the money is. That's great. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, and then what? I never look back after that. But so you can work 2 days on set and then make the same amount as you work in a week in the shop.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I think it's so cool that you have made it to be so successful as an on-set makeup artist. Because when I met you, you were in the mold shop, right?
Yep.
At Rick Baker's. I mean, being in the mold shop at Rick Baker's is still pretty prestigious.
It was pretty cool,
because Rick's is
actually started out in the foam room at that place.
Oh, really?
I was on the Grinch there.
Wow,
it was in the foam room, and then Roland, who's the shop's the foam runner there, he's like, hey, I can't bring you in on I can't remember the next show I started there was either Apes or Men in Black 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can go out in the mold shop for a while. And then I'll bring you in. And then I just stayed in the mold shop.
That's how it works, man.
It was fine. It was fine. But, I bounced around a little bit, but it was fine. I loved working there. I mean, the place was amazing.
It was so much fun. I mean, out of all the shops I worked at, I mean, I feel the first the big job I did, which was the Blob, that was amazing because I was like 18 or 19. Yeah, the movie was cool.
The movie's really cool. I just watched that recently.
Oh yeah, it still kind of holds up for the most part,
Man, they really do. Yeah.
But I remember that being like such a great experience and fun, and then it kind of slowly went kind of downhill. But my time at Rick's was when it got fun again, because it was just like there's time to do things right. There's all the best artists are there. Everyone in every department is the best. The best of
that field.
Right.
Of that. Yeah. And everybody had this sense of like, this has got to be perfect.
Right.
No matter what, even no matter what you're doing, this has got to be the best of that thing you're doing, So
totally.
there's this era of there where, and it comes from the top, I really enjoyed it. I miss that atmosphere.
Yeah, I know.
But honestly, we had a lot of fun too.
Oh man, we had so much fun.
I had a lot of group. I mean, we went to Tiki T's every Thursday night.
That's right. Yeah, Tiki T's. I forgot about that. Yeah,
drunkards.
Everybody respected Rick too. That's why it's almost like we knew what was expected of us because you were working with all the best people, but also you wanted to please Rick because he was like your hero as a kid, and you knew he had this high standard. So a lot of it was. I think that's why everyone kind of put the extra effort in, because it was Rick Baker you're working for. You got to do your best for him because he's the man.
Yeah. Man, when he used to do the walk around behind your desk, stiffen up. Am I doing it right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him on the show. Rick, if you hear this, please come on the show. He said he would do it a while back, and then I haven't been able to get him in touch with him on Instagram. So
he's got the time on his hands.
I know, and he's painting. He's painting now. It's like I told him, I'm like, and I keep mentioning in the comments. It's like, come on the show. We'll just talk about painting.
Yeah,
because he's a really good painter.
So funny. I got one of his paintings came up like for sale ? And he like, hey, you got a lot of inheritance coming in.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even think of that. He's probably just hanging on to him.
Probably his kid's college fund. Right?
Yeah. So what I was saying was, you were in the mold shop, and I think you surprised a lot of people when you were showed that you were this badass makeup artist, and not many people can make the transition. It's
a hard thing. And
so I'm wondering what that was like for you.
It was. I think I finally kind of, it's funny, you're in the shops, you're doing something important in the big shop, and then I'm working smaller shops, and they send you to set.
Right.
And you get your kind of your whistle wet, doing makeups and making decisions and this and that. But I think I was working at Steve Johnson's at the time when we were on I don't remember, Bicentennial Man or
Cat
in the Hat or something like that. And then I think it was Cat in the Hat. And I got a call to go do a makeup tryout for Passion of the Christ.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the moment of inventing transfers, which is like the 3-dimensional prosthetic, kind of go on like a tattoo.
Yeah. It's a different type of prosthetic than the usual foam latex prosthetic.
I think they were kind of trying a lot of people out, and I had a friend there that was working there, and he was like, hey, you should come over and give it a try. I remember I kind of I went over there and I did a makeup test, and they're like, well, yours actually, you're not even in the union, but yours is the best one that we've had. So
wow.
Oh, that's great. So they hired me on that. And that was kind of my moment where my transition of jumping out of the shop into a makeup. And so I got hired on that movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And I tried to, I went back and I did a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I got in the union, I just stepped away completely.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's awesome. So how did you initially get in effects? What's the first job you did? What was your I don't know. Were you doing this as a kid like me? You know,
Absolutely.
what age? What age you think you got bit by the bug?
God, probably like 12 or something.
Yeah,
like
me
that.
too. Same here, man.
Yeah. And it was just even going down. I remember there was a shop in Seattle, strangely right above the original Starbucks in Pike Place Market, and it was like a theater supply company. You know,
Where is this at?
in downtown Seattle. That's I'm from Washington State.
Oh, okay.
And so I go to Seattle and I go to this place and I go in and just this wide-eyed kid like, oh, look at all this stuff, you know. They had like latex and foam latex and things like that. So, and I remember I bought a bottle of latex and some blood, and all I would do is pull it on my elbow and roll it up and put blood on it. Go, my elbow, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was so cool. And,
yeah.
And then I remember getting into the Cinefex and Gorezone and Fango, and trying to figure out how they do this stuff.
What were the movies that inspired you to? You got usually people have like one or two major movies.
Yeah. Strangely, a lot of those Sinbad movies, really.
Oh, really? The Ray Harryhausen stuff?
I think I really loved stop motion. Really got me into wanting to do this stuff. And then I remember, God, it's hard to say what bit, the bug bit. I mean, Will Vinton Studios, I remember seeing like a claymation of Mark Twain when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Remember that thing? I was like, how did they do that?
Wow, yeah.
Not related, but still kind of related.
Yeah.
But, geez. I mean, I say the golden answer is usually the thing.
Right.
Kind of put me over. But I remember Thriller and all those things. That was the first time I saw that it could be a career because they have the making of Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at that over and over again. And I remember going to the video store and I rented it every time I rented a movie. I'd rent that too. And the guy at the video store complained. He goes, you're kind of ruining the tape in the one section. And it was kind of, the tape was strained and it was plugged out. And he was like, why don't you just buy this, kid? But
wow.
It's kind of hard to say. I think in the, I was in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. There was a really amazing time to be a kid because we had all the Star Wars movies and Dark Crystal. And
there was a lot of influences, come to think of it.
Gremlins and all these just amazing movies to be around in as a kid. And it just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
And I never thought of it as a job, but just something I was into. I mean, I think it was when I was a teenager and it just became a hobby into like a passion where everything was about makeup effects.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. And I met a couple guys in Washington State that also were really into makeup effects. And
that's cool. That was hard to find back in the day.
Really rare find. And we both, the three of us rented out a little studio and a little shop, and we go to the high school, go work, and then we go there afterwards. And so we were just burning the wick at both ends.
What age was this?
Probably like 16.
Wow. It's so cool, renting your own space at 16.
Yeah, we rented our own space. It was like between 16, it was probably like a couple of years, 16 to 18, something like that.
Wow. Did the other guys continue and get into the field?
Absolutely. One is this guy named Damon Bard, who's a sculptor.
Oh, cool.
And designer. And I mean, you'd know his stuff. He sculpted the puppets on like Coraline and James and the Giant Peach. And I know he worked at Botines for a short time.
Wow.
I don't know. I've seen him a couple years back, but I don't know what he's been up to lately. But he was like a Leica guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And the other fellow is Christian Tinsley. So,
are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, we grew up. We grew up together, and actually moved out here together, and had a apartment when we first moved out here together. And,
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to get Christian on too. He's such a cool guy.
Oh, you'd love it.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy. Super talented too. Wow, I had no idea. That's interesting. Okay, so, how did you get in? Start working in? When did you move and start working in movies, and what movies and what shops and all that?
The very first thing was Well, it's just funny you say that because after I moved down here, it took me a little while. I was working at a haunted house company up north, and
Oh,
everybody's got to do their haunted house.
yeah, definitely.
They paid me year round to work on haunted house stuff.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
The dream job.
Year-round thing.
Sounds like a dream
for
job.
A year, and I was working there with Christian too. And,
Oh, wow.
And then he made the move ahead, and then he's like, called me up, like, dude, you just got to break away from that place. You got to do it.
What year is this?
This would have been 96, 97.
Okay.
And my very first job to come full circle was working at Mark Rappaport's shop.
Wow.
In the Tool music video that you were involved in.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, Enema.
Okay, yeah, that's so
would have been,
funny.
What, 96, 97?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I haven't heard his name in forever.
Filming it at David Allen's shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember I had molded some of your sculptures.
That is crazy.
Like the eyeless guy and with the coat. And
yeah. I got a casting of him right up there. The head's cut off, but I have the head separately.
Yeah.
But wow, that's amazing. I had no idea.
That was my very first job in LA. Was working on the Tool music video.
Wow.
It was at Mark. I was at Mark's for a little while, and then I think they went over to. I was just one of those shop guys that just go from shop to shop to shop.
Mm-hmm.
XFX and Tony Gardner's and
Did you work at Tony's when I was working there?
No, you were gone. I think at that point we had to start up a new shop. He kind of started a grassroots new shop, and it was during me, myself, and Irene and Bones and one of those kind of.
Because I was around for that.
Were you on Bones?
Unless. I mean, I was around. I don't know that I worked on. What was Bones? Wait,
Bones was at it was kind of a Snoop Dogg Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
I remember Me, Myself, and Irene. I know I worked on that, but that might have been when we were doing the mask shop too.
Yeah,
and sometimes I was working at the mask shop. Maybe I don't know. That's so weird. Wow. Man, it's like we almost crossed paths all these times.
Crossed paths back then, yeah.
Until Rick's, So were you like? I imagine being, an effects kid nerd like me. You were like into all aspects of it, and then you get into the shops, and then you try and kind of find your niche and what you're really good at. So, what were you bouncing around doing? Just whatever at the time in the different shops,
whatever. Yeah, I mean, like we said in the bigger shops, I was doing a lot of mold making and things like that. I was when mold making over at Steve Johnson's and doing a bit of R&D work over at Steve Johnson's.
That sounds fun.
And then as soon as I broke out and I kind of started doing more makeup, I came back to the shops and I was more of a painter.
Okay.
In the painting department a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got hired over at K&B.
Damn, you worked everywhere.
Yeah, I was at K&B for like 19 years. So I was there for a long time.
What?
19 years.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
So that was a staple over there. And I kind of did a little bit of everything over there. Sculpted, painted, went to set with them. And and that's where, I've led into The Walking Dead, and I was 10 years on that show, so that's
crazy.
Yeah, it was a long stint, really long stint.
And now you're just kind of like you're not working in shops. You're an independent. You're a union makeup guy, and you just kind of wait to get called for gigs. You're probably not hustling jobs. They call you, right?
No, I still have to hustle.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're the part.
You got.
And I'm worse at it now than ever because I'm like older. I'm like,
right.
I hate calling around asking and stuff, but it's just part of the day. It's people need to know when you're working and when you're not.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's boring. So boring.
Yeah, but that's the job. That's job.
What it is.
Yeah. But wow. Yeah. It's funny because it's like, I always wanted to do, I've done makeups. I did the Dark Man makeup with Tony. I've done like,
great makeup.
Oh, thanks. I've done makeups on movies, but the thing, I always felt like I was not suited well for on-set makeup because you have to kind of be comfortable. I was not comfortable around, I got like, I'd kind of like, I was super shy. So I was I'm better now, but when I was that age, I was like really shy, and you have to, on set doing makeups, you have to like get in there in the middle of a scene, not while they're shooting, but like everything's blocked out and it's like, oh, there's an edge lifting up and you have to go and be like, I have to fix this. And everyone's like waiting and they're all looking at you. And it's some big actor or actress that's like super famous and you're like poking at them. And I just felt so much anxiety from that.
A room full of people staring at you going, oh, yeah, this is why it takes so long. Not the half hour for the lighting setup. Guy going in there doing the.
So it's like you have to have the personality that can like butt in and be like, be not aggressive, but more, you have to be assertive. Yeah.
Sure.
And so for that reason, it's like, I always liked doing the makeup once and then I was good.
Right.
I didn't have.
You can watch it on set, right? You good?
Yeah.
Somebody else can do that part. Yeah.
So
I agree, and I'm still that way. Funny enough.
Oh, really?
I'm always a shy guy, and I always have a hard time. But now I know how to. When I think there's a bit of a play of like when to go in and when not to go in.
Yeah.
In the room and
you get a feel for it.
Sometimes you can see like, okay, there's an edge thing, but where the camera is not catching it right now.
Right.
Better go in the next one and letting people know and
right.
Talking to script supervisor like, hey, there's a little buggery boo there.
Right.
And, might need to fix it later. Which
yeah, that's an option now, I guess, digitally.
It's an option now.
Didn't used to be.
I don't like it. And they'll say they fix it and then they don't.
Yeah.
Cringe watching the movie. Like,
yeah, and you've experienced the whole transition from foam latex to silicone, which is, I never really, I think I may have glued down one or two things for makeup tests that were silicone or gelatin, but silicone's like the standard now for realistic old age prosthetics and stuff.
Oh, definitely.
And how do you feel about the difference? I don't really know the difference. Is it more difficult to glue down and stuff?
There's positive and negatives to both, I think.
Seems like it's so heavy.
Silicone's a little bit easier to paint. Easier to edge and whatnot, to try and lose an edge. Actually, foam's pretty easy to lose an edge on, but it's foam, I think, still has its place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think a lot of people, a lot of shops still fall onto silicone when it's like this giant monster alien head. And it's ridiculous. They put it on this poor actor's head.
Yeah.
Walking around with 30 pounds on their head. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then they paint it really opaque.
Yeah. And then it's like, what was the point?
Not even getting anything out of it. What's the point? They just think that silicone's the better way.
Right.
So I still think foam has its place. I just glued foam last week and it was great.
Oh, cool.
And, but it's funny. There's so many new makeup artists coming in the last 5 years or longer now, actually, that only know silicone.
Whoa.
And I did a show where, actually, like, for instance, on Walking Dead, we'd bring people out to do it. And we only use foam on that show.
Yeah, right.
And people didn't know how to paint foam. Like, how do I do? And, oh, my God.
That is so weird.
Yeah. It's this stuff called packs. You put it on. Yeah. Yeah. It's it was very bizarre and it's still kind of that way, so I just did a makeup a couple years ago and everyone's like, why didn't you use silicone? It's so lame. And I'm like, well, because it was huge. It's huge,
right?
It's mean.
The Walking Dead's a perfect example of when you should use foam. It's like they don't have to be all translucent, with those extreme discoloration and the dirt, the blood. It's like
the blood and everything's so layered and everything was shot in 16 too, which helps. 16 millimeter. So that absolutely
16.
Helped.
What? What do you mean?
It was shot on film. The Walking Dead was.
Are you serious?
On 16 millimeter. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, just because he liked the certain graininess of the.
No way.
This is all a decision made instilled by Frank Darabont in the first season.
Holy shit! I had no idea.
Yeah, and we actually went to Panavision and spent a day. I did a makeup on a guy, and he shot every camera that Panavision had to offer at the time.
Wow!
And he just loved what 16 looked like. He said it looked a little old school.
That's so cool.
So I don't know. So and it helps. It definitely helps
Yeah.
too.
Right. None of that HD super
Yeah,
close on the
HD
edge.
or you see pores on your pores. It doesn't make any sense to me,
Yeah, right.
yeah, that helps. But foam also is the positive thing about foam is it's better for like doing generic makeups when
Mm.
you're working with, you don't know whose face you're going to put on that
Mm-hmm.
morning. And silicone doesn't really stretch and dart right in a
Right.
form of a person's face where foam does, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
it works. It just worked better. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's interesting. The thing that I always see people doing that looks like scary is that it's so heavy.
yeah,
And whereas
yeah,
foam is, you can like position it and, it just is lightweight. And these things are all like, how do you keep it from flopping off while you're
yeah.
gluing it down? I don't know. I'm sure,
It's like gluing on a jellyfish.
Yeah.
Trying to put forms in a jellyfish on
Right.
something's face sometimes. And they'll run it so soft, and then sometimes the pieces are really big, and you're just holding this thing like, what do I?
It looks amazing though. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest leap in
Yeah.
effects technology
Oh,
forever.
I mean, it does look infinitely better.
Yeah.
It does infinitely better.
Especially for old age and, naturalistic type
Character
stuff.
makeups
Yeah,
and
character
stuff.
makeups.
And it's become so normal now. I mean, some of these makeups that are just kicked out or something that 20 years ago would have been groundbreaking all over
Right.
the makeup. It's just like it's just the norm now.
Yeah, the standard has been raised. Yeah, so of course I have to ask you about Walking Dead because
Sure.
it's every effects artist, or at least it was my that's the one thing that I regret not being in the industry. Not that I necessarily would have been working at that shop. Who knows where I would be, but that's the one project I was like, damn, I wish I could have worked on that because I'm the original Dawn of the Dead was one of the movies that got me into effects. That and The Howling, those were my two big ones.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't care how oversaturated zombies are. I don't care. I'm totally into zombies. They're like pretty much my favorite monster.
Yep.
I think I just love them. But so yeah, I think I asked you at one point. I forgot what asked you about working on it. That must be so great. And you were like, "Be careful what you ask for." Something like that.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was always a zombie guy too. If anybody says, "What's your favorite monster?" It's like, in Dawn of the Dead myself, and also
cool.
Strangely, Day of the Dead. I love.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
It's just so gory and
it's
so much fun.
Yep.
And I remember like when they were starting it up in the shop, I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome! I really want to work on this." And yeah, I kind of kept hinting like, can you be like, we already got everybody hired. It's going to be on it.
Oh man,
really? And yeah, so I desperately wanted to get on it, and then I got on it, and then it's 10 years went by.
Yeah, crazy, man. And then you're like 10 years of zombies, and you're probably like, I don't want to see another zombie for.
Strangely, I still. I don't mind doing it. If somebody called me to do a zombie makeup, I'd be happy to do it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I
would be happy to do it. In fact, it's been so long now. I'm thinking about doing one just so I can remember if I knew how to do it.
Well, that's the thing, man. When you do something for 10 years, you're like, you could do it with blindfolded. I'm sure
absolutely
all the techniques, all the things that look really like good for dirt, good kinds of blood. Coloration, there would be no guesswork at all. If you were called to do a zombie, you'd be like, I got this.
Yeah.
How many do you know how many makeups you did, zombie makeups you did?
I wish I cataloged it, but I kind of did an estimate. I mean, it had to have been over 1,000.
Oh my God.
16 episodes a year. And, and you probably do 10 or so per episode.
Uh-huh.
Maybe more. Some days we do 3 a day, and so yeah, I don't know, a lot.
That is a lot of over 1,000. Yeah, I love the zombies. I was so happy that you guys did the zombies amazingly, you know, because when I heard that was coming out, I'm like, man, the zombies better be good. And they were amazing.
Yeah, and every year we tried to change it up a little bit, and I think just to keep our own interest.
Yeah, right.
Well, because every year it was like, oh, what are we gonna do this year? We kind of figure out what we're gonna do. You know, we'd have like a wish list by the end of the season, and like, oh, next year it'd be nice to have some more ears, you know, because
what do you mean?
Taking packs out of ears sucks.
Oh, right, yeah. just
strictly based on cleanup, but also if you make the ears slightly bigger, it makes the face look a little bit smaller.
Right?
Too.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a proportion thing.
Yeah.
So we made rubber ears and back of necks and it was we kind of Mr. Potato Headed them by the end of it. We were just like, we knew exactly. We had a wall full of appliances, just drawers of appliances. And, I want a forehead. I want a.
Oh wow!
Chin, I want this number chin, and we just run in and.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it was fun actually. It was a lot of fun, and we had a good group of people out there, and we had a lot of good times.
Who were the main people on doing the makeups besides yourself?
The first season, I mean, people came and went, but the first few seasons was like Jake Garber and Andy Schoenberg.
Oh yeah, right.
And let's see, Garrett Emmel.
Oh, he was on set for that too, because he was sculpting stuff too, right?
Yeah.
In the shop.
And, who else was on set? Oh gosh, I know.
Yeah, sorry to put you on.
Came out a couple times. Yeah,
sorry to put you on. So,
and then by the end, Gino. Then some people stayed longer, and then some people left, and it kind of came and went. But I stayed there through the whole thing. You know, I didn't.
So, were you like the lead makeup artist?
No, I wouldn't say I was a lead. I was just one that kind of stuck it out through.
Oh, okay.
But I definitely, over the time we, kind of figured out the paint structure and stuff like that, and formulated some to simplify it, make it easier for people coming in, because it kind of confused people, some of the paint schemes and stuff.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
What was the average time spent on a zombie? Just
hour and a half was our basic,
wow.
Basic was hour and a half.
Damn.
It's like Earl Shive of makeup, man. You just get in here.
Real shy of zombie makeups.
Yeah, I mean, we put on a ball cap in literally a minute. You're like,
wow,
boom, cover their ears, slap it on. It was like, it was crazy.
Wow.
You get the appliances. I think we timed it to where you get all the appliances on in like 20, 25 minutes. And then you can spend an hour, spend more time painting.
Yeah, right.
Better, so.
I imagine if you cover the ears and then use prosthetic ears, that would be the easiest way to just not have to deal with the ears at all.
Not have to deal with the ball cap edges.
Right, yeah.
So we just get it all on and we packs the heck out of them, and then you sit there, blow dry them.
Wow.
And it came up with these washes, like just Liquitex, like the acrylic paint washes. Kind of brushed over them and then did like a rub out.
Wait. Slow down. So like washes with a paintbrush or with an airbrush spattery style?
Oh no, just like chip brush, man. Like
whoa, cool.
Literally like washed out. I had like a blue green and a black and a dark brown, and then just kind of did a wash over them, and then take like a wet towel and then just knocked off the high
wow. That's so cool.
And then dried it again, and then we go in and then do the spatter and all that stuff. But it kind of gave it a lived-in look already.
Yeah.
And it filled in all the cracks and crevices, and it's kind of a quick way to, get some good coverage right off the bat.
Right. Wow, that's so cool. I love that.
And then we go in and do our, nice paint work and stuff afterwards.
Right.
But we found that if you go right in with the airbrush on top of these really heavy sculpted makeups, it always looked like it was a shadow makeup,
Right.
So if you did that element first, it really made the sculpture pop too.
Yeah, that's such a great idea.
Yeah.
The contacts and the teeth really, and the coloration in the mouth is really helpful too.
Yeah, mouth stain and
because they pretty much all had contacts, right?
Everybody, anybody on camera had contacts. Yeah.
So, but you can get like kind of generic contacts now. Like you don't need to get them fitted like back in the old days, right? There, you could sort of like have loosely.
Still got to get them fitted. But all ours were hand painted lenses.
Whoa.
Yeah, they were all hand painted. They were like the ones Christina Patterson made them all.
Wow. Okay.
She was a brilliant painter.
Yeah, she does fine art painting too.
She does fine art paintings as well. She's amazing at the lenses, and she did all our lenses. So, there's like, I can't remember, like 3 or 4 sizes of eyes. You know, most places you got to fit them to each person, but I think they were more or less like, yeah, you're a 20. You're a
Doink. Oh man.
Yeah, you're a. Yeah, that'll work. Does that hurt? No, good.
Yeah, I can imagine when it's, you know, things are rushing around and they need the zombie. It's like boink boink and then get out.
Yeah. There was a lot. We went through a lot of poor lens techs. Some of them went in the first year and they're like, this is not for me. I'm out of here.
Really?
How many do I got to do? I got just 15 today.
Yeah, they're usually used to going on set and dealing with one and just sitting around with some tissues and waiting to see if, you know, dab their eyes.
We're shooting in the woods in Georgia too, with ticks and shit on their face. Yeah, no good.
Wow. Yeah, man. I could see why it flew by. It sounds like you were just so busy the whole time.
Yeah,
you know?
We had a lot of fun though. I have a lot of great memories, and a lot of good memories on that show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I went straight from season 1 to season 9, and then I came back played a little bit on season 10, and then I'm like, I think I need to do something else. I was getting a lot of shit from other makeup artists. Can you do that? They see me on another show and they're like, oh, you know how to do other things than zombies? I'm like, yeah. Very funny.
Yeah, well, you did that old age application for X, right?
Yeah.
That thing's amazing.
That was a lot of fun.
And that was all silicone, right?
That was all silicone. That was a lot of it was a lot of appliances.
Really?
Yeah. That poor girl, she was covered. In retrospect, we probably should have simplified that makeup a little bit.
That's how it was with Darkman. Afterwards, we were like, we didn't need that extra separate back of the head piece that was this big.
Of stuff like that. Her makeup went all the way down to her waist, so she had fake breasts and everything. And her back went on all the way down her mid back. And originally, the wardrobe she had was a 90 that was open arms, so we had full arm appliances.
Sheesh.
We tried putting it on one day. There's 20, I can't remember, I think it was like 28 appliances or something like that, and we're like, this is ridiculous, so there was no way. Then the turnaround, and we're like, if she's in makeup for 6 hours and shoot for 13, there's not enough time in the day. So we did change the wardrobe to cover her arms a bit more.
That's smart.
She exposed them a couple times in the movie, but for the most part, are like, we need to simplify this a little bit. And I think we could have simplified it a bit more. But Mia, she was a trooper. And
how was she? I was gonna say, how did she respond to that? That's rough, man.
She was great. She was great. Yeah, we gave her proper heads up. Strangely enough, we shot that during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
It was during and we shot it in New Zealand.
Jeez.
And so when we went out there, at the time you had 2 weeks, you had to stay in a hotel quarantine before you could see the world.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was pretty crazy. They had like military around the hotel.
Whoa.
And it was pretty crazy. So I would go out and do our walks around the courtyard, almost like prison, and I would walk with her, and she would ask me about, what's the process like? And and she asked me a lot of questions. I definitely gave her a pretty good heads up of what she's going to be getting into. And I think it really kind of helped her a little bit. Once she started getting the makeup on, she would ask us to address her as Pearl. And she really got into it. And so there would be a certain point when you're like, I think her forehead would go on. She goes, okay, I'm Pearl now. Pearl. We're like, all right. All right, Pearl. We talked to her like an old lady.
Method acting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was definitely method. But she went, we did a lot of long hours on that. And WETA did the build on that.
Mm.
That was kind of neat to see that shop and
Oh yeah,
working there for a minute. But yeah, they did a beautiful build.
Yeah.
And yeah,
How
it was
does
a
it?
lot of fun.
How? One thing I never understood about the silicone prosthetics is how does how it seems like it seals the pores off, and it's like, where does the sweat go?
That becomes a problem sometimes. You'll get little sweat blisters,
Oh, okay.
especially in areas that are thin on the appliance. You'll get little bubbles, and you gotta go in there seriously with a needle and pop them.
That's disgusting.
It literally is like popping a pimple, and you get, yeah,
That's nasty.
and you get a needle, and you're like, hold still, and pop, and then scoop and squirt out the sweat. Then it's pretty gross.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's pretty gross. So it's pretty common.
Yeah, wow. It just comes with the job.
Comes with the job, yeah. But
Damn.
and then there's ways that you can put sweat stop down or zinc powder on
Right.
your skin.
Yeah,
Down.
I do remember that from back in the day.
Yeah.
So, what were what are your highlights of your career? You've worked for so long doing this. You worked on so many movies. Did you have any like ones where you were just like, that was amazing, that your most proudest achievement? Or
Oh gosh, it's hard because sometimes it's based on the time I had on the show, not so much the show itself.
Right. Yeah.
As
Right.
far as the work, I mean, I think I was pretty proud to be part of the working out prosthetic. What are the transfers on the
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, because that was like we were trying to figure it out as we went. Like we got out there and we're like, okay, there's an element of this. This is amazing, but it's also a pain because it's really hard to get off. So we had to figure out a way to get the makeup off as well as put it on. So we were still ironing that out while we were there, and formulating like gantres and stuff like that to put on the skin, and
Wow.
doing all these little tricks to try and figure it out. And by the end, the movie was just basically showcasing this. It was like a 2-hour snuff film of Jesus.
Yeah, the Jesus snuff film.
And I'm not particularly a religious person, but it was just like a really proud achievement to do blood continuity for 6 months on this poor guy.
Wow.
And,
Yeah.
it was like a big achievement, I think, and it was kind of my first breakaway into makeup too. So,
Right.
It was. I'm still something I look back on. I'm like, I can't believe we got away with half that stuff. It was really cool.
So,
but as far as fun, I think I had a lot of fun on like Planet Terror.
Oh, cool.
Movies.
And
those were a lot of fun.
Did you
kind of schlocky, but we just had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, those were great.
And there's nothing like groundbreaking at all, but it was just every day we went in and we're like, what do we do today?
Yeah.
Tarantino's dick's gonna melt off. Awesome, let's do that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun on that.
Yeah. What's like your most recent stuff?
Most recent, I did this movie. It's coming out in February, called Sinners. It's Ryan Coogler's directed it, and starring Michael B. Jordan. And it's a vampire film set in the 30s, in Prohibition 30s.
Oh, that's cool.
And in the South, and it's pretty cool. We did a lot of cool.
What kind of stuff did you do?
A lot of blood gags.
Oh, cool. Okay.
A lot of blood gags. Yeah. But yeah, classic vampire kind of story. Kind of. It feels like. Kind of felt like Near Dark vibes a little bit. But I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out.
Yeah, blood gags are fun.
Yeah, they can be.
to do it right, and like, yeah, it's got to be. It's so weird though, because you've got liquid. Anytime you're dealing with liquid, there's a potential to screw it up or having the blood come out early or whatever.
Well, it's an exact science, so it's like sometimes when they're like, "Oh, we want to spray and hit the wall over there 5 feet and hit that exact mark." all right, that's not going to happen. But I'll try.
Were you guys making your own blood?
Yeah, well, we started out buying our blood, but we used way more than we thought we would.
Wow.
And I made 10 gallons, and I was like, yeah, we'll never use 10 gallons of blood ever. And we used almost all of the 10 gallons on one day.
Oops.
And so the next day was another big blood gag day. And I'm like, holy God. So we were running around all over New Orleans where we shot it. And I'm going to every, like cake shop trying to find food coloring. And, you go there and get the photo flow, and you go there and get so, trying to get the recipe together.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
only on set.
A lot of blood.
Yeah. You remember Jim Beinke? Yeah. He's like sells blood, that My Blood.
Oh, that's great blood.
That's his blood. It's like he's.
Oh, I didn't know that Jim Beinke did that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we used some of that blood on there.
That's cool. Yeah, it's really good blood.
Yeah.
It's so funny that's I don't think he only does little projects here and there, but he's mostly just doing that blood.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So crazy.
It's one of the better bloods out there. That's great.
Oh, cool. I'll tell him you said so. Yeah, it's funny to look at all the, everyone, back from working at Rick's to see where everybody has gone, because like everyone kind of, there was so much talent there and everybody kind of like spread out. And some people stayed in the industry and some people kind of got into it, toys or adjacent industries or collectibles. And I feel like there should be some kind of high school reunion or something of that crew,
There should be. Should be at the Winchester across from his old shop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you remember, Chris Walker. You talked to Chris Walker.
Yeah,
because he's a Leica guy now too.
Yeah, he's a Leica guy now. Yes, he made the move.
Yeah,
Portland. That's great. And Steve Wang's got his own whole shop there in Chatsworth.
Yeah, and he's got like the coolest gig now to where it's like he's not working on movies I don't know if he might work on some movies, but it's like he's just doing these monument kind of things, sculptures.
In beautiful.
Amazing. And so
like the oversized figures for like
Blizzard and
conventions and things.
Yeah, and Blizzard Entertainment, the video game company, and it's like
incredible.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. But it's like I'm kind of envious because he gets to do all the different things that makeup effects. One thing that's so fun is it's got like all the different elements of it are kind of fun and cool, like the sculpting and the molding and casting. It's like all that stuff I find really interesting, especially to do it right. And but there's always limitations when there's prosthetic makeups or animatronics. There's always some kind of limitation, like the way you have to sculpt it a certain way so it wrinkles a certain way, and you're only adding to the face and you can't take away and blah blah. Yep. But he doesn't have to deal with any of that stuff anymore. He just gets to make these cool sculptures, using all the same kind of techniques. Yeah,
he's his own boss too, which is
and it's like cooler. Who would have thought that was like that little niche was a niche that needed to be filled? It's like he's like the only game in town for that sort of thing, I think.
He's the guy for that. Yeah. I know he does very well with it. So that's
I know.
And so many guys that were in that, like you said, are opening up their shop. I know Norman Cabrera just opened up a shop, and
he did.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Small shop, and he's doing starting to do stuff. So I'm very happy for him.
That's so cool, and he's been directing videos too. Have you seen any of his music videos? Yeah. They're really good.
They're really good. Yeah.
Super. Yeah. It's exciting. I'm sure. I bet Rick feels like everyone's like his kids growing up. And
oh, look what I started. Yeah.
And Mitch retired. You heard that Mitch finally retired. Mitch DeVries.
Moved to Spain with his wife.
Moved to Spain, yep. I can't believe he finally did it. He was talking the whole time I was working with him at Rick's. He was talking about retiring.
Yeah. You've been talking about retiring for 15 years.
Yeah.
One day, I don't have to do this.
And he finally did it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Finally did it. He was at K&B actually when he retired. And
Oh, really?
gave him a big send off lunch, and yeah.
Did he get wasted drunk?
Sure. Sure. I unfortunately wasn't there on his last day, which yeah.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it was a bummer, but yeah.
What was the show he was working on?
Honestly, I can't remember. He might have been on Walking Dead or something. He might have been sculpting some zombies.
Oh, he worked on Walking Dead?
He did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little bit. I think everybody in that shop did at one point or another.
Yeah.
Sculpting a...
Man, I wish I could have worked on that.
Yeah.
Just sculpt just one zombie. That's all I ask.
Well, you sculpt it once, it's going to be in every episode.
Yeah, right.
I watch the seasons after. I don't watch the show much anymore, but I saw like some trailer and I'm like, hey, I sculpted that one 10 years ago. There it is. You know?
So you get to do some sculpting as well?
Yeah, I sculpted a lot of the zombies on Walking Dead.
Oh,
sure.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of them. Jeremy Aiello and he sculpted a ton of them. Yeah.
Were you referencing? I know this is kind of like, you know, what a civilian would ask, but I'm kind of a civilian now because it's been so long since I've been out. But did you use a lot of like real cadaver reference and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember the first season there was like a big conversation about how the zombies should look, and I remember literally coming in with a bunch of photos of real dead people, and I go, nobody's done this. I think the closest would have been Optic with the Night of the Living Dead remake.
Yeah, right.
It's still some of my favorite zombies.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I totally agree.
Those are just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But I just said, look, when everybody makes the mistake of doing this and the hollowed and this and that, and I go, but when you die, you actually kind of swell up, and
right.
I was kind of pushing for that a little bit, but because we got to do it a few times, but it kind of fell on deaf ears a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was like, it'd be cool if they were kind of more blackened and swollen and their eyes swollen shut.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do that. And then I always thought the sound of flies should always be whenever they're present. Because I think sound is so important.
Totally, man. That's so funny.
They did it the first season and then they kind of went away. Every time you see a zombie, you should hear flies or see flies. And
yeah, that's so funny because last night I was telling my wife that I was going to interview you today because we were both fans of the show. And we started talking about zombies. And she said that very thing. And she said they should have had she started talking about the reality of zombies, like, how long would a real zombie last? Like, if everyone waited long enough, would they all just decay to the point where they couldn't kill anyone? How long would that be? But she was saying there should have been flies everywhere, and it's like, that kind of would have been cool.
It would have been cool. They did do it in the first season.
Oh, okay.
Quite a bit of it on the first season. And I don't know, it just kind of went away. I never brought it up again. I'm like, hey, we should have more flies.
More flies and more maggots.
But, and like, as it is, it's funny is that people know what a zombie is and what not a zombie. And I don't know. So we tried to, we did the usual hollowed out eyes and the things like that. And I think Rick was kind of the guy that came up with that for Thriller.
Yeah.
And it was basically because he needed something that would work generically because he didn't have time to cast everyone.
And the bigger teeth. That was one of his things too, to make them look shrunken.
Make them look more shrunken. So you just make their extremities of their skull and their teeth bigger and their ears. Like we added their ears bigger. Mm-hmm. And I think it made it was like just playing with proportions on their face.
Right.
We ended up doing a lot of, and it worked pretty good,
Oh yeah. There's some of the best.
There's some more
zombies.
Successful ones than others. There's some that I watched. I'm like, that wasn't. It wasn't so good, but
yeah, you're probably your own worst critic though, because I just remember them all being awesome and being jealous every time I watch that show.
Yeah.
I got to do those cool zombies on Haunted Mansion though. Those were fun. I don't know if
those are awesome.
Yeah,
those are great.
You don't see much of them, but that kind of got I got a little satisfaction, even though the movie sucked balls.
The curse. That's the curse that Rick had on a few movies, man. It's like some of the best work he'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. The movie's like, meh.
Yeah, I know. It's such a bummer.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I don't know. Is there anything you haven't done that you want to do in with your job? With
Yeah, I
effects?
want to do. I want to. I've always wanted to do a werewolf movie.
Oh, you've never done a werewolf?
No, no, I never did.
How are you
And
with hair?
oddly enough, I got called to work on Wolfman, one that just came out over the weekend, and then again they shot it in New Zealand, and politics and stuff. I guess they're no Yanks allowed,
Okay.
something like that. I don't know. I don't really know the case, but I would have loved to work on it. It's actually a pretty great film. But yeah, no, that's the thing that I've always wanted to do a werewolf movie. I think it would be good notch.
Yeah.
I think because the thing that I think American Werewolf was like the movie that really kind of motivated me, and we talked about earlier about movies and stuff. But I think American Werewolf was the first time I was like, "What the hell?" I mean, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And so I think I've always wanted since then to do a werewolf thing and do my own take on a transformation, practical and stuff. So
yeah. It would be very hair heavy. Are you like, you got a lot of experience laying beards and stuff?
Laying beards, yeah, I'm good with the laying beard, but I would have to go to school on that. Yeah, I mean the hair work is that's a whole nother skill. My wife's amazing at hair work.
Oh, really? Yeah, she's in the industry too.
Yeah, she is. She's brilliant with hair work. So
that's cool.
You do that part, man.
Yeah. That's what my wife did too. And she worked at Tony's for years when I was working there.
Really?
And she did hair. Yeah. She did like,
oh, that's cool.
Hair punching and ventilating and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never had the patience for ventilating. Yeah.
Yeah. That seems crazy.
You do that ever?
Yeah. You gotta have good eyes for that.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Well, that's like pores, like I know a lot of people don't like sculpting pores, but I can get really into that. Like I remember after I learned from Mitch, like Mitch taught me his pore technique, and I was like, oh shit, I'm all about this because I like tedious work like that, like really refining something and like shutting off the world and doing single pores. You gotta have a certain kind of weird brain for that though.
I can get into it when I get in the rhythm of it, but I'm one of those sculptors. I like to do the broad strokes, and then I get bored with it when the forms are starting to get loose. I get kind of like,
That's yeah. It's like,
all right, hand done.
Yeah, I think seems like there's two types of sculptors. It's like the people that love the detail and people that love the blocking out and. I was always like a detail guy until I started working at Rick's and saw how much time they put into the forms and how important the form was, and that detail's secondary to refining your forms. And then it all changed. I was like, oh, I get it. The form is way more important.
It's about creating that silhouette and that.
Yeah.
What the light hits,
Yeah, and you could also be kind of anal and detail-y with the forms by like super refining the forms too, like not detailing them but refining them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do miss sculpting a lot. I do.
You sculpt still though.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Within your artwork.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing like figures and
that's amazing.
These are glow in the dark face and hands. I do all kinds of glow in the dark resin stuff.
Oh, that's very cool.
So, but it's like, whoop, knocked her down. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I miss coming in and just hanging out, putting on some music or the Raleigh tape or whatever Mitch used to put on. And just going at it with some big monster heads, masks and stuff. I miss sculpting that.
Well, and you're an artistic person, so it's nice. Don't you feel like when you're looking around and you see it around you and other artists working and stuff? It's very
Yeah.
I do miss being in the shop, seeing other people's art.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's super
like being around it,
super inspiring. Yeah. When it's not like, there's some situations at shops where you're working around a bunch of assholes that you don't like, but, or at least, there's like one or two that are kind of ruining the vibe. But for me at Rick's, it was just like, there was Mitch, Matt, directly around me in the sculpting era, Steve Wang, sometimes, Mario. It's just like, so, Kazu. It's like, you can't not be totally inspired by working around them.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, I think I just said this. I've said this so many times, but I really, I thought I was good until I went to Rick's, and then I realized, I'm not as good as I thought I was, and then I just like busted my ass to try and keep up, with those guys. Because
I couldn't imagine sculpting around those guys.
It was like, I was all like, I can do this. And I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of amazing. I remember going to Rick's shop the first time and seeing the figure of, that Kazu made of, what's his name from Ed Wood?
Yes.
Martin Landau.
And
I could not believe it. It was so real, like looking right up close. And I'd never seen anything that realistic or well done in my life. Even, 10 years in effects before that, I never saw anything that good. And I was just like, damn, that's amazing.
Yeah. Next level for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's like you're looking at a real person. That's what it felt like, but they're frozen in time. That's how it was seeing Kazu's Dick Smith head for the first time, that giant Dick Smith head. It was
it was insane.
It was like a psychedelic experience seeing that, because you'd never seen anything like that before. Totally realistic, but giant.
Giant. I remember being fascinated with like, how did he do the glasses?
Yeah, right.
That's not even our wheelhouse.
I know. Yeah.
How does he know how to do that?
And the shirt and everything. It's like
shirt and the giant buttons. He's everything. Yeah.
Kazu's out of this world. He's like totally on another level. He broke out. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was doing those giant heads in the gallery scene.
Yeah.
He did a lot of those.
Warhol and
R. Crumb. He did an amazing R. Crumb. It's so good. You got to see it. Yeah, look it up after. It's so amazing.
No, he did a Lincoln.
Jimi Hendrix.
I've seen. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Frida Kahlo.
Frida, yes, I saw the Frida one.
Yeah. And he's got a whole system now for how to make a big giant head. That's very like, he's not just winging it. He's like got it all worked out the way he uses ZBrush and makes the cores and unbelievable.
Who's really good at those? There's my doggy.
We're a dog-friendly podcast. We always have dogs on the podcast barking in the background.
Part of it. Yeah. Floyd. he's
oh yeah, I saw a picture of Floyd. He's cute.
Floyd's great. WETA Workshop has this museum for World War II or World War I museum in Wellington, and I'd never seen anything like it, and it really reminded me of Kazu's giant figures, but the full body, full giant figures.
Really?
Of scenes from World War One.
That sounds crazy.
Phenomenal, like shockingly so good.
Does WETA do the work for them, or
WETA does all the work for it?
Oh man!
In giant full scale scenes, and you're like standing around them, and the heads are 4 feet tall.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Massive. Just massive. I've never seen anything like it. Very impressive.
That's so cool. Imagine doing that, but like monsters. I always think of stuff like that, like normal stuff. I'm like, imagine that if they were all like a bunch of demons like that. He's so cool. Or a bunch of zombies, a bunch of giant zombies.
Some dark art museum that's just giant.
Oh man, my dream. How was it? How was working at WETA?
It was cool. It was very. I mean, I was only there just doing the prep for mostly paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
Just trying to get things ready and organized for the show. But just being in that shop, it was the first time I felt like, okay, it kind of felt like being at Rick's or in.
Oh, really?
Walked in and it was just every room you went in, it was very inspiring. And
do they do things like the same way? Basically, did it feel like a home shop? You know?
Yeah, they do. They everything's kind of similar, but they're a much broader company too. They got a digital department and they got a weapons department and they
props and stuff.
Yeah, they do a lot of weapons. When I was there, they were working on Rings of Power as well. So there was a lot of hobbity stuff everywhere. And it's the only shop that I've ever been at had a gift shop.
Whoa!
They have a gift shop attached to the shop, and so tourists can come in and.
That's crazy.
And was like, okay, that's next level. Yeah. So many tourists that they have to have a gift shop.
That's amazing. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm sure they make a ton of money with that too. So, do you have anything cool lined up in the future? We're getting near the end, so I thought, do you have any projects coming up or plans or?
I have nothing. It's open slate. It's crazy. I'm doing a commercial this week, and then I gotta go do the hustle. Go back out there and look for work.
Is it a welcome break or no?
No. I need to keep working. I need to keep working. I need to start making the phone calls, all that boring stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I have nothing in the future. Everything's really slow right now.
I've been hearing
the whole industry is really, I'm sure it's really taken a hit in the last few years.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And, same with tattooing. I've talked to my friend in tattooing saying it's been really bad, and the fine art, really? Galleries have been doing terribly. It's like, it's been brutal the last couple of years, man.
Yeah.
COVID really fucked everything up, I think. It just was.
It was COVID threw the wrench in and just messed everything up.
Yeah.
And everything's been a bit of a struggle ever since COVID.
Yeah.
Every year's been okay, but it just feels like everybody, and it's just not myself, it's everybody. It's kind of like always trying to, really trying to catch up from that that COVID time. And then these fires that we just recently had.
Yeah.
I think may even put another hiccup into our film community again.
Right. And the winds are kicking up today like crazy. Is it windy where you are?
Tomorrow it's supposed to be bad again. Bad winds. So.
They said it was going to start at noon, and it was like right around 12. It was windy, like 11, 12. So I'm like, God, please, no, not again.
Have you felt anything like that before? That last Tuesday?
Oh no. Yeah, totally. My roof. I thought my roof was going to entirely come off, but it fucked the roof up so bad that I got to get a new roof. It's like most of the shingle, the top layers of shingles came off, and it's down to like the last layer. And yeah, it was scary, man. It was scary.
Trees out in the front. I got one big pine tree out in the front, and I'm like, oh, hang on, hang on.
Me too, man. I got an avocado.
Just crushed my house.
I know.
My neighbor's house.
I know. I got an avocado tree that's big, and I'm just like watching out the window, and it's just like, it's so scary.
Yeah, and the house was filled with smoke. I don't know if you got hit with the smoke in Monrovia, but I'm sure you did.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was just insane.
Times we're living in right now.
I know.
But I came out kind of positive because I was getting some feeler calls out before the new year, and like a lot of people asking around, like, "Hey, are you available this time?" So it kind of left me a little positive, but. So I'm trying to put the vibe out. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's going to be a good year. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I pulled a tarot card for this year at the first of the year, and I got the Sun, and that's a really good card. So I'm like, okay, I'm still, as much as like we've got fires, we got Trump going in office. I'm like I'm still remaining positive somehow.
That's the only thing you can do, man. Just don't look at the news. Don't turn your TV off.
Exactly.
Turning my TV off. I'm gonna get to painting again. That's my goals for the year.
Yeah. Get to painting again, for sure. If you ever, maybe we could get you in some group shows or something if you want.
I would love that. That would be a lot of fun.
Because your stuff's awesome.
Do you still ever do your paint classes?
I've been thinking about that. Because I do them at tattoo shops once in a while, and I did one.
Yeah, I attended one once. One of your.
Oh, no way! When was this?
Oh, this was I don't know, couple of years ago.
God, yeah, I can't even remember last time I did them.
Yeah, it was at a tattoo shop in Chatsworth.
Like
Northridge,
West Hills, or was it North Hills, or way out Calabasas, kind of.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like an upstairs place.
That's right. Okay. Wow. I totally forgot you were there. That's so funny.
I had a lot of fun, man.
Oh, good. Yeah. I want to do, it's just finding a place to host them. Cause I just have I don't have like a studio. I just kind of work out of this bedroom. So yeah, I'd like to, I kind of do it on Patreon a little bit. I want to do like a webinar or something. That's kind of what I was thinking for this year. Some kind of like online webinar thing, maybe.
Oh, that would be great.
That
would be great.
But
I learned a lot that day. I didn't know what Gamsol was until that day.
Oh, cool. Good. Yeah.
I brought it into effects. I used it to break down silicone to paint.
Really?
And it worked.
Oh, cool. It's the one of the safest. I think it's the safest paint thinner as far as like toxicity and how much it evaporates.
Yeah. Well, I took it into the makeup effect. I brought it in. I'm like, hey, try this. And we were painting.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like, woohoo.
That's like when I remember when I first started painting, I was at Rick's and we were working on Hellboy, and they're like, paint these horns. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it in oils and do like thin glazes. And it's like, I painted the Hellboy horns in oil paint. And, looking back, I'm like, I probably could have painted them in acrylic and it would have looked the same. But it's just, you're in that mind.
The oil paints.
There's, and a translucency. But I think if you can get that in acrylics, if you use mediums and stuff, but it's just like, I was so into like oil painting and trying something new in effects, Yeah. I wanted one thing I wanted to add, final thing, just out of curiosity, because this is another reason I never tried to get in the makeup union. Like I almost had an opportunity to get in at one point and I forget what it was on, but do you ever do just regular corrective, straight makeup, beauty makeup?
I do corrective makeup.
Because I never.
I'm honestly, I'm not into it. It's not what I got into this for, man.
I know, but
for monsters and this and that and boogity stuff, but if you only peg yourself to do that, then you're not going to be working all the time.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. That's like part of the gig is you have to do.
It's part of the gig, and every once in a while, like, hey, I'm going to do some back. I do a lot of day checking. Where they just call you up and go, hey, can you work this day, this day, this day? Okay, cool. And you're just doing background makeups.
Right.
And all you're doing is, evening them out, color correcting them. And it's once you learn it, it's quite easy.
Yeah.
But beauty, I'm still not comfortable with.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I never, cause when I was growing up as a kid, I wanted to learn everything and I never I couldn't quite understand corrective makeup and beauty makeup and why you would use certain colors for eyeshadows. Like it just did not click in my brain. And so I always felt really insecure about having to do that sort of thing,
Still very insecure about it.
Really?
Yeah, and I've had to do it. Once I'm like, oh, this girl, you can just put some lips and eyes on her, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
2 left hands, or I don't know what to do. And then I kind of like winged it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's great, and move on. I'm like, I don't know if I did that right at all.
Right. You probably could have asked her. She probably would have known.
That's the problem when you're doing makeup effects. They don't know what the hell you're doing. So even if you're winging it when you're makeup effects, you're like, hey, let me try this. They don't know.
Yeah.
They know every product. They know how you're.
Yeah, they know way more than you do.
Oh yeah.
They do it every day on themselves.
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of times you just hand them the lipstick. Here, you can put it on. They want to put it on themselves.
Right. Wow.
But I'm not. It's still something I'm not comfortable with. If I get called on something, this big heavy makeup thing, and I'm like, give it to someone.
Yeah.
They're versed in it.
Yeah. How often does it happen that you do just kind of regular?
Actually,
like half,
probably
more than half, or?
Oh no, not that often. I think people kind of know what your
he's the zombie guy.
Skill sets are. Oh yeah, he does the makeup stuff. But on the other hand, there's a lot of straight makeup artists who say they know how to do effect stuff, and
oh yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah. I've seen that many times.
Oh yeah. No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've got my own medicine too. So like, yeah, I was on Maxine. There was a big club scene where we were doing tons of 80s makeups.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got kind of thrown in the deep end a little bit. But the makeups in the 80s were really broad.
Right, yeah.
Boom, big eyeshadow, and big this and big this.
Yep.
And we had this great board that the department head, Sarah Urbano, had out. And I just looked at that. I'm like, I could do that, and I just do it. And everyone's like, that's great. And I'm like, it kind of gave me a little bit of confidence. And some of my insecurities were washing away a little bit.
But
cool. They were 80s makeups,
Yeah. Exaggerated.
And I actually had a little fun doing it. So I was like, maybe I could do this, But I just like everything, you got to practice. And
yeah.
It's not something I'm so inspired by that I'm like, I'm going to go out in the garage and practice.
I'm going to do a basic corrective makeup today.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something. It's just something you just got to do,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I was always curious about that. That was one of the reasons I was like, I can't be a union makeup artist because I don't know. I don't have any instincts for it. Like I'm not even sure what you're supposed to do with corrective. It's like, are you supposed to just like find a foundation that is close to their skin tone and then put it all over to get rid of any blotches or something?
Corrective is more or less if they got little dark circles under their eyes or if they have blemishes.
Okay, so you got to like analyze them and.
Yeah, you kind of look at their skin tone. If they have like big pores, there's products that you can put on to make them look a little less, and it's pretty basic. But yeah, and then you find like their skin tone and you just kind of. Nowadays, with all the HD cameras, with corrective makeups, less is more,
Yeah.
Very little. You don't want to cake it on too much.
Right. Yeah.
It really shows. So, and I like natural looks anyway. I don't like that Hollywood old.
Yeah.
Everyone looks like George Hamilton,
George Hamilton.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Blast from the past. Yeah.
That's something you got to know.
Yeah. Well, that's that's interesting. I've been thinking about that a lot over the years, So yeah, thanks for answering that. But thanks for coming on, man. It was so much fun to talk to you.
That was good chatting with you, man. It's been far too long.
Yeah, I know. We'll get some Zello sometime.
I'd love that.
That's like right in between both of us, I think.
Between us. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for your time. The last thing we have to do on the podcast is you just have to give like a little say goodbye to the audience and however you want to.
I don't know how to say goodbye, audience.
Goodbye.
Hey, goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.